Not every entrepreneur starts with investors, bank loans, or financial backing. Some start with sacrifice, sweat equity, and, excuse me, even after loss. Today, we're talking about creative financing, rebuilding after devastation, and protecting the vision when the plan changes. Welcome to Elevation in Action, Truth, Trauma, and Transformation, the podcast where we explore the intersections of trauma informed care, brain based methodologies, emotional regulation, and resilient living through real stories. And tonight, we are having amazing guests. But before I talk about our guests, let me share with you who I am. I am Dr. Juanita Britt McDonald, founder and executive director of Rediscover Me Initiative, where we believe healing begins when truth meets understanding and where education empowers transformation. Today's episode is a powerful conversation where for entrepreneurs, creatives, and anyone rebuilding after disappointment. And so joining us tonight is LaQuisia Johnson, model, hairstylist, entrepreneur, and owner of the Experience Beauty and Wellness Center. In this episode, we discuss creative financing, self-funding, sweat equity, and what it means to pivot instead of quit. So do me a favor, it, um, join me in inviting Miss LaQuisia Johnson to the stage. Well, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for fitting us into your schedule. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
All
Y'all
is
can see I'm
well.
outside. I'm on my break, but it is okay. It's okay. But I wanted to say you're definitely right about
Uh-oh, something happened. We lost her sight and her sound. So let's give her a moment uh, so that way to see, give her a moment to come back in. Uh, the one thing that is so amazing about technology, there's always an issue going to come up, but no matter what comes up, we are going to work through it. And so I want you to be a little patient because Quisha is so amazing. And as young as she is, she brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. So we're going to give her a moment to try to come back in. But while she is working on coming back in, let me do this. Let me share something with you. She's going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And there's something amazing about entrepreneurship. We all want to become entrepreneurs, right?
oh,
But we
oh,
don't.
I lost you for a second. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay. Could you
Your
see me?
I could no, you went completely out, and
Oh, sorry about that.
no problem, no problem. You were about to make a point, and so I want to give the stage back to you.
Okay. Yeah, so what you were just saying about sweat equity, and it's been a little while since I've updated you because you introduced us as the Experience Beauty and Wellness Center. So we've actually been going under renovations. We just come to a complete. It has definitely been blood, sweat, and tears. I've been through multiple contractors just to kind of be contracting myself. I've learned so much. So I have worked on my 2,000 square foot building. Um, just despite the setbacks. I believe the last time I talked to you, I can't remember how many locations I had, but from 2024 to this year, I had 4 locations, and I finally don't let me get ahead because I'll just
I'm about to say, come back, come back.
I'll just go. But it's entrepreneurship, just being a salon suite owner, it's not just that because there's other ventures as well, but finances, the deeper I get into
So
this finances, oh, go ahead.
let me pull you back from before we start talking about the finances, because
Okay.
even though I gave your name and your little background, I have one particular question. Tell
Okay.
us something unique about us. They've seen the post and all the things I'm sharing about entrepreneurship, but tell us about the woman behind the scenes. Give me something unique, something different that people may not be aware of.
So behind the scenes, as far as like my personal life, what I'm about, like outside of business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am a mom. I'm a military spouse. I do have custody of my baby sisters. They are 11 and 9. I've had them since they were 3 weeks old and 1 years old. So they are my children, but I do like to introduce that dynamic just because, like, a lot of people don't know. And my just kind of like my parenting style with them, I'm still their sister. We like to have that clear communication. So I am about kind of getting to the root. We're not gonna keep masking and covering things. Let's get to the root of what things are, what our positions are, and how we can move forward. So just even with my son, it's a big dynamic in our family. So, the things that I do, I set an example with my business, they're involved. That has always been my thing. My sisters kind of got me prepared for parenthood because I'm like I go on a go. So when it was finally time to sit down and make those decisions and really understand what sacrifice meant, that came from my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's no different in business. When you want something, when you have a responsibility, it comes with sacrifice. It comes with just kind of sitting down and being honest and being truthful about pretty much where you are, where you need to be, and where you're going next from there. So that's just kind of like my backstory. I was pushed early. Let's see, I got my girls. I was 22 years old. I'm 33 now. So it has been a very long journey, even down to the spiritual, because oh, that was that took a turn in things as well. It changes the mindset, like just your perspective on life. Anything that you touch, there is a different perspective. When you meet a person, the perspective changes. When you can see yourself in a different light, when you can see yourself in different rooms, when you've come across different people that are not like you, people that can help you, or people that you can help. So,
Absolutely.
both sides of those. So that is my personal life. It definitely is purpose. I mean, it took a while. Somebody asks you what you wanna do, what you wanna be when you grow up. Like, beauty has just always been my thing. I've always modeled. I've always done hair. I've always just have a mindset of bringing the best out of somebody. So when I'm doing hair, it's not just I'm doing hair. It's like you came in one way, you're getting ready to feel a complete difference when you leave. So
Absolutely.
it's just kind of getting to the roots of
I
things.
love
So it
that.
goes back to that.
I really like that. And so thank you for giving us a little clip of your background. Just to expound a little bit on LaQuisia. She and I have known each other for some years now. I can't say the exact number, but it's been a
It's been a while.
very long journey. Yes.
I would say
But
you were around when they were younger, so yeah,
yes.
it's been a
Mhm.
while.
Yes. And so I thought she would be a great inspiration to be on our segment, Elevation in Action, because I do know her, but it's beyond just knowing her. It's the drive, it's the perseverance, something you don't see in someone that's so young. And even though she is young, she has wisdom beyond those ages. And so she brings something to the table that we felt would be very beneficial to you, to entrepreneurs, all of those that are joining in with us. And so um, you chose the title, Quisha, Pivot, Not Quit, building a business without debt and defeat. And so I want you to kind of take us into that mindset of why you chose that particular title for tonight's segment.
So with that title, I have a lot of mentors. Let me just put that on the table, but I am gonna talk about one specific mentor because whenever you first sent the questions and pretty much when you sent the proposal and everything like that, when we did the background of things, Pivot, I'm in a mentorship group called the Pivot Room.
Mm,
So I was like literally in the middle of what you were asking me to do. So I'm like, there's no way. I have to pick that. I have to pick that because that is pretty much what is happening. Like I was saying earlier, like I had multiple locations. I had to really sit down, decide what the end goal was, make the best decision from like the standpoint of where I was. So I did a lot of pivoting. I made a lot of hard decisions. I've had many disappointments, but through it all, I was not wanting for nothing. I didn't lose, I didn't lose anything. It was still like structured, almost kind of like it reminds me of like the song Gracefully Broken. It was like
mm,
it was like of course and when you're in the midst of it, you're like, why is this happening? I did this. I did every step that I was supposed to do. Why is this happening like this? But then when you actually sit back, kind of get yourself out of the way so you can really see like what the purpose and the plan was. Like of course we're always going to have our plans. You always plan, but you do have to be prepared for transition. You don't know when transition is coming. That's pretty much the whole purpose of what you're prepping for. You're prepping to be transition. It just may not happen exactly how you decided that it was going to happen, but it's still working in your favor. So you just keep moving. I've met so many, I've like, for all the wrong people I ran into, I met 10 times the good people. You know what
mm.
I mean? Like, I've been in like amazing rooms. Yeah, just so many opportunities has came. I've learned so much just the behind the scenes. So my next venture, I didn't need my plate full like that because I pretty much told God, like with my relationship, I'm ready for
Okay. Hopefully, we're going to give her a few minutes. We're still dealing with that technology thing, and so
that.
as we there we
Am I
go.
here?
Yes, yes, you are.
Oh my goodness. Um, so it just like it just required a lot of pivoting and pretty much like pivoting is like if you think about a pivot, like you're still grounded. You're still grounded, but you can maneuver. You know what I mean? Like it's not to say that the vision is not going to come to pass, but I need you to go down this path because there is something down there that I need you to get prepared for. So I need you to go this way and we'll get to that path over there. Like that's how you have to look at it. I don't want to make this a spiritual thing, but it's really hard because that is a part of my journey. Um so is more so who are you listening to? Who are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? And once you realize that, you can be teachable. Because when
Mhm.
you think you know everything, it's harder for you to transition because without a doubt in your mind, you thought it was that way.
I want to go back to you were sharing that you didn't want to make it
And
spiritual.
I'm going
Um,
out. I can't hear you. I sound like a little rat or something.
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you, but I don't see you. And so, but I wanted to
Let
go
me
back
try
and
something.
okay. I don't know if I was going to explain to everyone while you're trying that. She is out. She is outside. She's in class. Not only is she, running business, but she's also stretching herself and she's taking classes, mentorship programs, and learning how to strengthen. And basically, when you think about what she is sharing and how she's sharing it, she's showing you and I the nature of why you have to go a little bit deeper. She also shared, well, which is where I was cutting her off at in a little, segments that. Her faith, her belief is what is was like the driving force. And one of the things she said was, you have to be careful with who you're listening to. And starting a business, definitely, oh gosh, it's like way up there. You have to have forms of guiding factors. And um having that faith, that belief system, it that your belief system will help, will be a factor that actually help guide you in. So I want you to always understand that our on this show, on this, in this space, understanding how you transform from one place to the next, it requires faith. And
I
so we
still
don't
can't hear
we,
you.
we don't your mic is off. We don't take away from our belief system. Yeah, can you hear me now? And so we don't want to demise or diminish that. Are you back? Are you clear? Okay, there's still a lot of issues. Do a lot of editing. LaQuisia, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? She may have to go out and come back in. Um, I actually pulled some statistics that center on small businesses, and so I like the fact that she is incorporating, that she's in training, she's working more on herself and her business. And the reason why I said I like that is because 38% of small businesses fail due to running out of cash and or the inability to secure funding. Without having the proper funding, your business can just about go kaplook. And I, for one, know that very well. When I started Rediscover Me, the our launch was like with $300. I think, if I'm correct, I think I had like $300. And it was taken, and that little money just got swept up, and I didn't know what I was doing, guys. I did not know a thing. And even not knowing all of that, I was also working diligently to try to build it up. And I felt like, Rediscover Me was my calling. I just knew it was. And I jumped because guess what? Everybody around us was saying, hey, you gotta jump. Steve Harvey, jump. And I jumped out with $300 to start a business. And not understanding what it meant, but there's a lot that goes into this. And so now that LaQuisia is back, if you can unmute your mic and tell me if you can hear me now.
I can everything. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. And I had all
Well,
my bars up, so I don't know what was going on.
I think because you're at the school, and I was going to mention that
Oh,
earlier, and their signal might be offsetting yours. Um,
oh, okay.
so,
I
but
was like, oh my
we're gonna
goodness.
try to get through it, and I'll
Okay.
do the editing, and all of this other stuff. We'll try to polish it up. So,
Are you hearing me right now?
yes, ma'am, I hear you very
Okay.
well.
Okay, and I can hear you good. Okay.
Okay, let's try this. Let's try a question in regards when I remember when you and I talked about you starting your wig business,
Mhm.
and how that and the purpose of having that wig business and what it meant for you. Could you give us a little bit about that? And did starting your wig business help you as you grew in other areas?
Yes, because honestly, it doesn't matter what you're offering in business. It's more so how you run business, the knowledge, what you know about business. That's pretty much where your success or your failure will come from. Just a matter of what you want to say in numbers, like what do you need to profit? How much did you spend? Okay, well, how much are you looking to get back? How far are you looking to push this? Um with me, I withheld paying myself. So I
Mhm.
found other ways for my income and my budgeting. Like I got real strict on leaving business for business and personal for personal, and I pay myself later. When you do it that way, you can actually see what you're making, what you made, what you spent. That used to be a hard question for me. Like, even though I got stuff done, if you ask me, well, how much did you make? Well, I don't know because it's going right back out. I needed to make this, so I made this amount and I paid that amount for what was needed. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it was good to see like how much was coming in, the potential of the business and what it could be. And when you don't touch it, that's when you see your profit. That's when then you can expand. You can have an expansion. You can do those things like that. So with having that, I actually started that business at home. So with doing
Mhm.
that, that started in 2020. So my first brick and mortar wasn't until 2024, and I was still learning the dynamics of business. I'm still learning the dynamics of business now. I'm learning negotiating. I'm learning like investment. I'm more on the investment side now. I have spent a whole lot. I have spent a whole lot, but it's not even about money. The finances are the least of your concerns, because whether you have $100 or $1,000, if you don't know what to do with it, either way it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So I just, I don't believe that the financial part was of it. I guess it's just a matter of having a plan. What are you going to do? It was just me with the wigs. Are you just going to keep selling wigs, or are you going to go a little bit further than that? For example, I am getting into the medical grade wigs, insurance pay for those things like that. Like, it's just how far are you trying to go? I'm more so, my goal was always to get from behind the chair. So I'm thinking, what can I do to get from behind the chair, or limit the services to where if I work 2, maybe 3 days out of the week, I'm still good for my income. Business can thrive. I can get to the point of where I am employing myself, or I can employ others and things like that. I never really worry about employees just because of the type of business that I have with salon suites. I don't really need employees. It more so comes into play with my back office, having your files, having your paperwork together, having your bookkeeping together, just kind of documenting everything. So that's kind of what's important with business, rather than the product that you're displaying. You kind of want to make sure you have those behind the scenes together.
Now, in the beginning, we talked about creative financing, and a lot of people may not understand what creative financing is. So, before you give break it down to what creative financing is, I want to give the definition so people that are listening will be able to understand what the definition is. But as you see it and how you have moved with creative financing is the direction that we are going with this question. And so, for those that are listening, creative financing involves using unconventional, non bank, or self funded methods to launch and grow your business. And so, for LaQuisia, I want her to just share a little bit, or a lot of her creative ways that she used to finance her business.
So yeah, definitely creative. You got to get creative, because you got to think about it. If you're starting from ground zero, where you're building credit, or you decided to be a full-time entrepreneur, which is that was me. If I won't move in, I was not making any money. So it's just kind of like with my hair business, it just kind of depends. So when I first started my hair business, when I started making money, I used that as my personal income. So then it was like, oh, I still gotta get some more. Like, it's I kind of felt like I kept starting over. So I'm like, okay, that's not gonna work. I have to find something else to where that can run itself, but I on the back end, I still can, take care of my necessities. So then, okay, I'm servicing certain clients, things like that. Or I used to do like wholesale. So my business started off as the girls collection. And so I picked something that wasn't really specific because I was still figuring it out. So I may have wigs, or I may have like bulks of clothing. I may have bulks of shoes, like just collectible things. I was very popular for kids. Like, I'm pretty much a kid stylist, so I always had kid clothes, kid shoes, things like that. So I had people that would purchase from me, and then it was kind of like I started shipping things, and then I ended up running into someone who had a boutique. So they started buying things in bulk. When I got my first bulk order, I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to change my whole business plan. Like, yeah, that's what I need. I don't want to be sitting on no products. All like, I don't want this stuff here. Like, I remember it may have sat for 2 days before I was shipping it out. And I was like, that's what I want right there. That's it. So so I did for a while. I built the website. I did um I don't forgot what it's called. Drop shipping. So I
Mhm.
did drop shipping for a while because I didn't just want to be ordering like, I mean, you just kind of have money held up. So I did drop shipping for a while. What I learned from drop shipping, it is convenient. You do have more access to things, like you can offer more. I can offer you hair, I can offer you the products, I can offer you bonnets without having all of that stuff. But I ran into a lot of people that want, like, right then, you got some wigs? You got, like, right now, I need a wig now. And I'm like, I don't like saying no. So, I kind of went back and forth for a while. I'm like, no, I gotta keep something. You gotta get the people to something to walk away with. So I went through so many pivots. Did you hear all of the pivots that I did? Like, I know we're talking about creative financing, but that required me to pivot because going in, the wigs was gonna make me all of the money. But once I got in, I was pretty much getting in the way of that. I had to
Mhm.
pivot to find like my multiple streams. You have to have multiple streams. I'm all for multiple streams. Even if you have an amazing 9 to 5 job, multiple streams is just always good to have. So you're not stretching yourself so thin. You create more opportunities. If you're gonna go out to eat every week, you can take that same money and invest it in something that's going to give you a return. Because once you go out to eat, you're not getting that money back.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Those are the things I started thinking about. So yeah, so we cut back on that tab. I remember, um, I remember the kids and everything. Like, we took our Netflix. We had probably the premium package, and we had family members on there. We took it all the way down to, it was like 6.99 package. Wasn't getting none of the new movies. Like, it's okay. Watch what's on there. I'm talking, we probably watched everything that was on there. But that's okay because it was just like, we really don't need Netflix at all. But if we gonna have it, like, okay, we can go on a lower end. Like, I went through all of the bills. If it was not necessary, it was not necessary. We had Disney, we had HB, we had all of them. I'm like, we don't need all of that. So I cut that. I started there first. Subscriptions that we didn't even know about. Looking through our statements, like, oh, what is this? What, we've been done with that? Like, things like that. People don't think about that. You're not looking at your
Right.
account. You're like, oh, the money is there, or you thought the money was there, but when you went to go use it, it's not there. Yes, you have to be more attentive about your finances and how you're spending, what you're spending on. Now, if you create a budget, like for me, I love tropical smoothies, so that's within my budget. Like, if I want to go there all week, I'm gonna have the funds to go there all week and not be thinking about, dang, I just spent my gas money. No, that's
Right.
not responsible. You do have to take sacrifice. 'Cause some people think that life owe them. Like, I deserve to go on a trip and do that. You do. You have every right to do that. But at the same time, after you come back from that trip, are you worried about how you gonna pay that bill?
Mhm.
Then that was not a wise decision.
Right.
The
So let
vacation
me
can
ask you
wait.
a question. So I want to go to, you had a massive loss with one of your buildings. Can you share a little bit about that? uh,
Y-
as a
y-
setback? You know, what did that look like?
So yes, that was my very first brick and mortar.
Hmm.
And it's in a plaza area. So um there was one of the businesses down the way caught fire, and it trickled all the way down to my building where I had less of the damage, but it still was like water damage, electrical, things like that. So there was no way for us to operate. I want to say we probably was almost honestly, I say it took about 2 years to even get those keys back in my hand. I just handed those keys back over because it was no longer the fit. That was something I had to pivot away from. So, it took a while for the renovations to even get started. It took a while for the inspections, all of those things. So the plaza was down for a while. Once the owner started the build out, it did still took a while. So probably November of 2025, I re-signed the lease. He kept everything the same. He didn't go up on the rent or anything like that. He was still moving in my favor. They had refunded me my deposit from the beginning, but everything still worked out in my favor as far as when the building was up and running, just being the first to, you know, get the choice of renting the building again. So we went through all of that. Once the walls were up and things like that, once I signed the lease and I was able to get my key, I went ahead and was doing the tours while the renovations was in process, just giving everybody like, hey, the backstory of everything that went on. So we're in the building process, just pre-leasing. Like you have that. If you want this space and you feel like, you're down for the wait, we can do that. So those was 4 suites. I ended up getting all four of my suites booked up. Everybody paid their deposit. And so even with that, my tenants still waited a good 3 months. So from November to January.
Hmm.
January to what we're in May now. I just handed my keys back in March. So there was an issue with plumbing. Plumbing was like that was my make or break if I was gonna sign the lease. I'll sign this lease if I can get the proper plumbing for my service providers. It's beauty. We have to have
You have to
running
have water.
hot water,
Yes.
cold water. Every suite needs that. Okay, agreed. Just I guess things just didn't work out in his favor on his end, and it came to a point where he's like, "Hey, I've been down a while. I do need to get these buildings rented out. I'll give you your money back that you pay. I do apologize, and that's fine. I
Hmm.
just had to take it for what it was because it was prolonged for so long, and I believe when we want something so bad, we do kind of gotta get in the habit of sitting back and really paying attention
So even
because
though you're in that space, LaQuisha, with all of that happening, you're having to make real time decisions. Mental well being. What was your mental state like?
like I guess because it was prolonged for so long, like in the beginning I was mad. I'm like, oh my God, like I already got everything all booked up. Like I'm waiting. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Just even when it first happened, first of all, I my suites were booked. So I was like, I have to find somewhere. I have people. I have to find somewhere. I gotta get these people. I got an event coming up. I had did like a paint workshop for kids. I had things that were coming up. So I was in a frantic.
Hmm.
But in the midst of that, the building that I have now, I came across that building. Turnkey property. I didn't have to do anything. I was able to
Hmm.
go in right away. That was something that I asked for. Like I still had to plan. I still had to write. I still had to get all of that out of my mind so that I could think clearly. I was still searching and searching and searching. I was still checking in on my tenants. Hey, did you find somewhere? How's it working out for you? What's going on? Just keeping that line of communication clear. So yes,
Hmm.
it was. But as time went on, as it dragged out, and as I'm letting God know, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I want. And I had to realize like, hey, you said you want this. So now that this door has closed for the next door to open, you're still over there trying to open that door that I just closed. I had to be okay with that
Mm-hmm.
when it all came down to it. So, I talked to the tenants, I kind of sent them recommendations, things like that of places, just giving them the heads up. Any whatever information I found out from him through the process, I would update them and let them know, still keep them in the loop and everything like that. But it was hard though. It was hard. That was my first location. I was excited. I'm like, oh yes, I can get my building back. Like, but it's I mean, I wouldn't trade it because like I said, it was 4 suites over there. I have 12 suites where I am now. And
So
that was the
what,
one thing I was asking. I wanted expansion.
awesome. So tell me, what is some, if you could lead just one thing for an entrepreneur that is starting out, um,
Hmm.
one recommendation that you would give them to help them to pivot, to understand, about creative financing, what first steps they should be considering, I guess is the best thing way for me to say this.
I said I said you have to be disciplined and you have
Mhm.
to be honest with yourself. You have to be kind of be attentive about your bad habits. Like you really have to take into account like we go through so much money. It's not money. Is what you do when you get the money.
Mhm.
That's all the discipline behind when that money get in your hand because people do it all the time. When I get my check, I'm gonna pay this bill, that bill. When people get their checks, you see them going out to eat. You see them going shopping. You see them getting things like you didn't say none of that before you
Mhm.
got that money. Soon as you got that money, you went against what you said. You went against your goals. You went against like if it's that important to you, if you're that tired of where you are, then you have to be willing to give something up. It's just kind of like when we go ask God for something, for those who are spiritual, when we go and ask God for something, He's expecting us to give up something. I'm not going to think twice about fasting. Now, if I just got off a fast and we done got in trouble, got to fast again, I'm going to do a little huff and puff. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to give this up because I'm asking for something. So it's not to say you do things to get things in return, but when you really do the groundwork and you're putting in, you want to see the results. So the results of what you do behind closed doors, people say it all the time. Oh, I have a Bible at home. Okay, do you read it? No, you're
Mhm.
just saying that because you don't want to be embarrassed that you're not putting in the work, but it's gonna show regardless. You can try to dress it up, you can try to hide it, but if you really want to get to the bottom of things, if you really want to make a difference, be honest, be disciplined.
So, do you think that financial stress, meaning that mismanagement, plays a big role in entrepreneurs not being successful?
Huge role.
Mhm.
Yes, huge role. Even with the renovations that I'm doing, I had to budget. Like I really had to budget. I had to go project by project. Like, okay, of course I want the whole thing done. I wanted to look like this. I have all my inspos and everything. I increments. Let's get the renovations done first. We'll worry about the decorating. Like we'll worry about the details and all of the flowers and bows and color. We'll worry about that later. Let's get the foundation first. Let's do that. Let's get that together. Some people don't know how to just stop there. Some people want to rush through the foundation just to have to start all over again. I've done that so many times. So now I just believe that I got tired of feeling like I was in a never ending cycle. So it
Mhm.
is gonna kind of being honest with yourself. Like, are you happy with where you are? If you're happy with where you are, cool. But don't get mad when you see the next person somewhere where you actually want to be, but you tricked yourself into saying you're happy because you don't want to put the work in. And that's really
Absolutely.
just what it is. So honesty, discipline, and you just go from there. When you change your mindset, that's really all it is. That's just the difference. Like I said, you can have $100, you can have $1,000. It when I was in Virginia, it's $100 for your LLC. Here in North Carolina, it's $200. So I mean, that same 200, you either gonna buy some shoes with it or you're gonna eat it within a week. So where are you gonna, you know what I mean? What are you
Absolutely.
gonna invest or, it's your
Absolutely.
choice. So, yep.
I asked that question because we're transitioning into our brain based um, segment, and so this is where I pull out Brittany, which you are kind of familiar with. Um, the biggest thing about creative financing that we have to take into consideration is how do you know and understand money? And over, as LaQuisia has been sharing, she's talked about how to maneuver your money, how to um, structure that creative financing, why the money had to be important. And the biggest thing she shared was it wasn't the front end of her business that was that is what she had to tackle. It's the back end. Excuse me, I got stuttered a
Mm,
little bit. That back
but
end,
yep.
all the paperwork, all the everything. But when you go through, when you're first starting out, it's the money that we are so concerned about. I got to make the, I got to get my bag. I got to make the bed, and it's like, but do you understand about the bed and the bag and what's supposed to happen? And are you? And I'm going to use her word. Are you disciplined? Majority of people are not disciplined, and this is where I bring Brittany in at, because in this part or in this segment, a person becomes very afraid. And so financial stress will trigger things that comes back here and attacks our amygdala. And that part of this part of the brain is our survival brain. And so every time we have did as she explained, hey, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to get my nails and my hair done, or I'm going to take this unnecessary trip because I deserve it. When you are stepping into the entrepreneurship arena, there's a form of discipline that has to take place. So let's talk about financial stress. Let's talk about what that looks like. The very first question that you have to ask yourself is, how was I taught about money? What was I taught about money? How was I taught about it? Was did my parents give me a ledger and show me how to document, even down to a penny? I got that and I put it in my piggy bank. Did someone teach you money management? If you weren't taught money management, looking at your bank statement or your checkbook or your online banking, what what do those line items say? Because your bank statements talk, it really brings some stuff out, and it will tell you what you are doing. Um, and so when we think about that, I ask those questions because I want you to think about how, when you get your money, it impacts your brain. What does that look like? And so I'm going to put Brittany down and I'm going to use your model because guess what? If this is that amygdala part, that back part of the hand of the brain that I'm talking about. It's your file
Mm,
cabinet. Inside of your file cabinet is all of your data center. And in that data center is where you pull out old information. So if you are making
right.
a financial decision, you're either going to make a healthy financial decision or you're going to make an unhealthy financial decision. And how do I know that? Because of your past history, because of how you were taught about money, because of your relationship with money. Someone that is well trained, well understood, um, they don't, number one, emotionally spend. You
Right.
follow
Yep.
the guideline of what LaQuisha shared.
Yeah.
Discipline,
Yep.
checks and balance system in place, um, omitting paying yourself in order for your company to thrive. So that type of impact is centered on the brain. Another area that I want you to understand is when you operate in this state of creative financing, see, it took, if you notice, she said, hey, I started out with my wigs, and I started doing drop shipments, and then I got into bulk, and so those little bitty steps, every time she took a step, every time she pivoted, guess what? It activated,
Right.
let me pull Brittany up, it activated the frontal lobe. Our frontal lobe, this front part of our brain, that big noggin right here, tells us that we can learn. It's our intelligent part of our brain. And inside of the intelligent part of your brain, it has to be activated, it has to be stimulated in such a way that it helps you to bring those ideas to play. It kind of directs you into what to do and how to do it. And each and everything that you do, it helps you to grow and to thrive. And so I wanted to share that part with you, that everything that was said tonight played a massive impact inside of our brain. And bringing LaQuisia on is to give you that place of, sort of like that placeholder to say, yes, that is some of the things I do, or I could try this and I could take her advice and see where that takes me. And so
Hmm.
I want to say thank you so much, LaQuisia, for coming in and joining us tonight. Because the biggest thing that I am hoping that everyone understand is that a regulated brain understands the truth.
Yep.
It, the regulator, it
Yep.
does. It understands, and then it knows how to pivot. But if you are not operating in a state of discipline, if you are not um, putting yourself in positions, like she is in class right now, so guess what? She's putting herself in position. She's growing. She's expanding. She's connecting in such a way that it allows her to see beyond. And entrepreneurs are forward thinkers, they're developers, and so you have
Hmm.
in a creative place, and you have to be with creative people that stimulate that part of your brain. And so the biggest thing for entrepreneurs that are listening is, I want you to be able to move from a survivor brain to an
Hmm.
intelligent brain, from a survivor brain to an intelligent brain. And so um and that mean and to start doing that means you have to put things into the right perspective. Your paperwork, your bank statements, your business plan, all of those things that you hear over and over and over, put it into perspective. Meaning to write it all out, start the steps that need to be taken, and then move forward. Okay. So
Right. Mhm.
with that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, for allowing us to take up some of your break time. And
Yes, not a
so
problem.
awesome, awesome. And so for each and every individual that has been listening, you have been a part of Elevation in Action, where truth, trauma, and transformation takes place. We have been listening to LaQuisia Johnson, who has been enlightening us on some very creative ways that we can apply creative financing in order to either start our business or to pivot within our business. No matter which pathway you are on, there is an opportunity for you to grow and thrive in that. So with that,
Mhm.
we're gonna dismiss her and let her go, and I'm gonna close you out. So
Okay.
thank you so much for joining. If you'll hold on, thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to you to next month, June. We got some amazing people that'll
Okay.
be coming in, and so take care. Have a good night.
All right.